Well, hello and welcome to Rowra in glorious Cumbria, where it's not quite raining yet for the O Plate for the NKC. Now, the O Plate is what we as commentators love because it's all about first place. Everyone else doesn't matter. Guaranteed excitement. Joe, how excited are you on a scale of 1 to 4.3 million?
I'm right there, Nick. I'm on the limiter already, and you know what? We're about to go into the paddock, and that's exactly the question I'm going to be asking people. What is it about the O Plate that is different? And I think I can answer the question. The question is, usually we talk about championships and we talk about, settling for third because of the championship points and the championship situation. That's out the window, mate. It's all about on the day. It's all about that O Plate. It's all about coming first. And we're in the entertainment business, and we are about to be entertained. There's no question, because that move that you might not take in a championship situation, you're going to absolutely go for, because it's all about being there on the day.
Lots of differences in the running of the day. We've got a bit of time qualifying on Saturday, then we've got some heats, then we've got some heats on Sunday, and then we also have some super heats, and then the finals, they're a quarter of an hour. Joe, does that extra 3-5 minutes make a big difference?
It would for me. It would for me. I think so, yeah. I mean, all right, we're on one set of tyres for the weekend, so we're not really going to be into the realms of tyres, especially if that weather comes, and the weather is forecast. But yeah, I think so, especially with the younger drivers in the heavier, the younger junior Rotax drivers who are, small in stature. The physicality will perhaps come into play. Even the older guys, the masters in the field, they might find that extra 4 minutes will come into play. So yeah, I mean, it's another element, isn't it?
So we've got a couple of returnees, haven't we? We've got Mr. Louis Large who's come back fresh from not being here last year and breaking down on the last heat of the previous set at Forberg. Yeah. What do you think it is that attracts people to O Plates? Is it because they can just commit one weekend?
I think so. I think that everybody feels it's got an event feel, hasn't it? It's the whole weekend. It's also the whole weekend is allowed to be. We've enabled the weekend to be strung out a little bit. So I'm not going to say relaxed, because it's not. It's not as tight. It's not as rushed. It's not as harried. We've got time to get through our programme this weekend, and I think it's just that accolade of carrying the O Plate. If Louis does win the O Plate, there's every chance Louis Large can be up there in the 177 class, but is that going to bring him out of retirement? What I'd love to see is championship regulars taking home the O Plate, and then we'll see in the final 3 rounds of the championship coming up for the rest of the season, we'll see that O Plate being brandished on the grids in the NKC.
Well, enough of us talking about this. What Joe needs to go do is go into the paddock and talk to the drivers. What I need to do is work out how I can green screen out this shirt for one that's supposed to have sponsors on it.
It's the summer. It's the summer.
It's the wrong shirt.
Rowra's NKC O Plate is a one-off. It's a one-off, and the man I want to talk to right now, Paul Ozan, he's done many, many O Plates. He's done many events that are very similar to O Plates. Paul Ozan, Team Ozan Racing, as you are this weekend. Paul, the thing about the O Plate that I actually love is that we're not talking about championships. We're not talking about discretion being the better part of valour. It's quite ruthless out there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. With the O Plates, you've kind of everyone kind of gears up to win it. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not a case of trying to preserve championship points or anything. You've really got to lay it all on the line for an O Plate. So obviously many years ago, the British Champs used to be like a one-day meeting as well. Yeah. And it was the same for that. You get a lot of entries and so on. It's a little bit disappointing with the numbers for this one. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of local track specialists have come along to do it. But yeah, it should be a good weekend, yeah.
What's your presiding memory about those? I mean, yes, you're right. You've reminded me. The British Champs was a one-off weekend in the middle of the summer, wasn't it? Yeah. What was it about that you, Paul Ozan, used to love about it? That is, if you loved it. I mean, you might have hated it.
It was just great, wasn't it? I mean, we used to have like an E-final, so you used to have like kind of 120 odd people kind of enter, maybe a bit more. Yeah. And you really needed to get 3 good heats, kind of under your belt to get through, to get onto the front of the grid for the final. And it's no different for this weekend, really. That's what everyone's going to be aiming for, getting a very good time qualifying in, which is going to put them obviously at the front where they need to be. And then you can maybe consolidate your kind of positions from there and try and get a grid for up the front of the final. Yeah.
I think that's going to bring about a different nature to the way we go racing this weekend. The time qualifying is a little bit different. No mixed grids this weekend. The qualifying is going to sort out the grids.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Because it's kind of you know there's a mixed opinion, isn't it, about mixed grids or time qualifying? What's Paul Lozan think?
Yeah, to be honest, it's a kind of quite nice. I think it's quite a good change, obviously from the norm, from what we do with the 3 mixed grids. Obviously, if you look at like kind of the MS UK Championships, they're kind of doing the time qualifying. Obviously, years ago, it was always, you know, you're always trying to get to the front, and you'd always get the band of the quick ones up the front, you know, the kind of works teams and so on, that drives a bit at the front, and then, you know, you're always trying to chip away at them, basically, you know what I mean? But when you get up the front, getting a good session, and obviously kind of not making mistakes is very important, to not overdrive for your qualifying times, you know what I mean? You can overdrive and you can lose half a second very easily around here, so you know, there's a few curbs, if you hit them it kind of ruins the next part of the track and so on. So I think, yeah, any advice, just try and keep your head calm and you know, get as much from the car as you can without overdriving. Yeah.
You've answered the next question, actually. It was going to be you're running Jay Leverton. He's on the number 11 in juniors. What's your advice to Jay going out this weekend? We haven't even started here on Friday afternoon, as it is.
No, that's right. I mean, the key to getting everything done for your qualifying is actually getting track position. So it's pointless. You see a lot of them, they'll be battling away kind of 3, 4, 5 tenths off the pace with somebody that's slower than them, trying to overtake them, where you need kind of have a little think. Just drop back, get yourself some space, and then go again. Right. And you see so many people just battling around for 10 minutes and just, you know, losing time hand over fist. So, yeah, my advice to Joe will be the same. You know, get your own bit of tarmac. Yeah. You know, stay off the curbs, get everything done, get your brake points right, turn in. You know, and
a lot of secrets away about Rower here, Paul. Stay off the curbs, remember that. What about racecraft, though? Because, like we say, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Discretion can't be the better part of valor. You've got to kind of go for it. But how do you tell a young driver? How do you tell everything you've been telling them in the championship? Yeah. You can't. It's a clean sheet of paper this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. And he's still learning. It's only his second year, so each meeting we're going forward, he's learning a little bit more. You know what I mean? So regarding kart setup, or you know, how the engine's feeling, or what he wants from the car. So, you know, each meeting we're just stepping that little bit forward, you know. So hopefully.
He's standing behind it. Jay, let's bring Jay in and just, because you've heard what your mentor here, the legend that is Paul Lozan's, just said. What's your thoughts going into this meeting, where it's all about the on the day, isn't it? What's Jay thinking?
Yeah, like, you've got to get your kart set up perfectly in a practice like we're doing today, to just get it bang on for the race, and it's up to me to just go out there and do the job. So I've got to stay clean, I've got to hit my corners right, hit the apexes right, and just wish for a good race.
We're going to tell you to not crash, not go off, and then overtake everybody without crashing. That's not easy, though, is it?
No, you just got to keep out of the business, and even though it's O-plate and everyone wants it, you got to stay clean. Make sure you don't get a drop nose cone, because that can be crucial. And yeah, just go for it, really.
And you missed out, enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're still enjoying actually racing these things.
Oh yeah, it's just lovely racing the car. Just getting back in it after a long week of school. It's brilliant.
And it's the 6 weeks holidays coming up, isn't it? Have you now finished for summer?
Yeah, I finished for summer now. I finished 2 weeks ago.
So you've got the test programme all mapped out for the next 6 weeks?
Yeah, we've got a few races, I think, coming up, haven't we? Over the summer. So yeah, and Wilton's actually not that far away, really. So yeah, cool. So yeah, all good.
All good. Great stuff at Ozan Racing here, and we wish you all the very best, guys. Have a great weekend. It's becoming a bit of a trend here in the NKC. We're attracting the big teams, and I put Guy Cunnington Racing here, 2019 British MS UK British Championship in Rotax. Guy, you are here in the NKC with, I think you said, 7 customers racing here. What brings a team like Guy Cunnington Racing to the NKC? What's been the attraction?
I've just heard about it from a few friends that have sort of gathered over the years, and we thought as a one-off race we'd have a go, because we're looking at doing the rest of the season and look at doing the championship for next year. So we thought this will be a nice taster to see what the championship's all about, to then get prepared for the northern half of the season, and then learning for next year. So
what I want to ask you is, and this is kind of a theme of this week's Paddock Show, is the all plate. Is we normally talk about, conserving your championship points, discretion being the better part of valor, but the all plate's not like that at all. And you've been party to a few all plates in your day. It's all of that textbook goes out the window. It's all about, do or die, I suppose, isn't it?
it is, yeah. There's a few nicknames for the one-off races that we won't mention now, but yeah, it's very much there's no prize for second, so
yes.
Yeah, it's a nice race to watch. It's fun. It's a little bit to watch. Yeah, exactly. Hence why I'm stood on the fence.
What sort of advice are you giving especially your youngsters in the junior class? So what you as a former British champ, they're looking at you and basically going off you every word, as are your seniors, I would imagine. But yeah, I mean, what kind of advice can you give them then?
For me, the one-off race is very much like, let's get through the heats. We don't need to win every race. Like a championship, maybe you need to score the points, or you're focusing on, right, he's near me in the championship. If we finish 10th and he finishes 11th, it's a good result because we've beat who we need to beat. This is very much just to get some consistent top fives. If you're within the top 10 on the grid for the final, you're within a chance of winning it because all hell will break loose. So. Yeah.
Usually. How you find the challenge? Different tyre, for instance, in the NKC to what your team's used to. How are you finding that challenge?
Very different tyre. Mm-hmm. Very, very different. We're again learning that with mainly the seniors with a bit more experience. So trying a few different, mainly just tyre pressure really. The kart setup hasn't changed too much. We've got a bit more front grip.
I was going to ask you that bit next.
Yeah, we got a bit more front grip in the kart than normal, but nothing too complicated. The pressure, from what I've heard off of people, it's a little bit different to the Mojo in the fact that if we need the tyre to come on quicker in the Mojo, then we put a bit more pressure in. Right. Whereas where the sidewall is a lot stiffer than the Mojo, so to get the tyre on quicker, sometimes we actually need to drop the pressure to flex the sidewall more, which generates the heat in the tyre. So getting your head around that, we're there now. We were there by sort of session 2, but the first couple of sessions, just trying to get that different theory into your head of how to make this tyre work. But it's all sorted out. And it's going to rain on Saturday, isn't it? So again, another steep learning curve. I don't think I've ever raced here and we've not had rain at some point. Yeah. You can be 40 degrees and then it'll rain. Yeah, so we'll look forward to that at some point in the weekend. But yeah. Well, it's great having you here, Guy. And Guy Cunnington Racing is a big and valued customer to the NKC, as are your competitors. So we wish you well. I know there's only going to be one winner. Wish you very well. Cheers. Good luck, Guy. Right, familiar name in NKC is Sonny Morgan here. He's had a bit of a torrid day, though. Sonny Morgan, you're in different apparel. You're now with LRG Motorsport. It's a bit of a sad day for all of the viewers, Sonny, because we are not going to see your rainbow liveried kart anymore, are we?
No, not anymore. I mean, it's not too bad. The LRG livery is just as good. I like it.
Well, what's happened to the kart, firstly?
Well, it's a scrap heap at the minute.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it just hit the 30 race old mark, so it was getting on a bit.
So it's just worn out? You haven't had an accident or anything?
No, it didn't snap, it didn't bend. It's intact, it's just, it got a bit old, it got a bit worn out, the newness worn off. Right, so you're now with LRG, that's Louis Large's team. Yeah. How different is it? You're now on one of his karts. Is it a massive difference being on something newer? I mean, it's taken all day to get used to it, and I still haven't got used to it yet. Right. We're getting there.
What aspects do you mean when you say you haven't got used to it? What do you mean?
I mean, it's the braking. It's the same brake. It's just every kart feels different. The brake on this kart is a longer pedal. Mine was shorter before. I mean, I've had to get used to having a different fuel tank. I've had to have it's a different kart. It's a lot stiffer as well. It's a new chassis. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I mean, Louis Large is a former British champion, isn't he? And he runs a tight ship. Let's get Louis. If somebody can get Louis for me, we're going to grab a word with Louis as well. Yeah. Is it like a massive pool of knowledge that you're just sort of soaking up like a sponge?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you learn a lot more when you're going in and out with different people. And I mean, we decided to be with Louis as Up north, I mean, he's won everything, isn't he?
Yes.
He's the man to be with up here, so.
Yeah. And are you in with Louis for the rest of the NKC Championship?
Probably, yeah. We haven't made our mind up, but the way it's looking that way, yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff, Louis. Let's have you in here, mate.
Hello, mate.
Welcome back to Louis Large. He was the 2022 vice champion with a great season in the 177 class. You're making a bit of a comeback, mate, to the NKC at least, and you've come all out for the Your Plate. And I've talked to Paul Ozan, I've talked to Guy Cunnington, and I'm going to talk to another former British champion. The Your Plate's a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. It's all or nothing. Anything can happen. It's not about points and championships and long seasons. It's who crosses the line first at the last 100 metres takes it home, and that's all you're here for.
And how can you influence that from the very outset?
You've got Sonny with you. It's something we've been working with Sonny about today is, going out on practice days, practicing for what you're looking for on Sunday. If you're going off at the back of the pack, if that's your intention, great. But if you want to be at the front and hopefully drive off on a Sunday afternoon, then that's what you need to be practicing for. So it's just about going out, putting in the clean laps, working on the car, trying to make it as fast as you can. You can never predict what someone else is going to do, or you can't affect how fast someone else is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So all you try to do is look after yourself, get yourself as fast as you can, and just try to keep putting in the good times and see what happens on Sunday.
How do you stay out of trouble? Is it easy, or how do you do that?
Well, normally qualifying helps.
Right.
But obviously we've got a mix of time attack and mixed heats this weekend, so you've got to you've got to take the chances when they come, because if you're not going forward, the person behind will go in on you, and that's when you end up in the dog fights. But pick your moments, be committed, and just keep your nose clean where you can. It's motorsport. At the end of the day, there's always going to be a risk and a chance that you'd spit it off, but you've got to take the chance, especially at a weekend like this where it's winner takes all.
Now, normally as team principal, you've got several hats on. You've added another hat to this weekend, Louis, because you're actually a driver as well. How tricky is that? How tricky is sort of switching the focus on and off for the various roles that you have this weekend?
Yeah, it is really difficult. I know we've spoken before, and I've said that the team manager, team principal thing, it's really hard. You've got so much to balance. It's not just about tyre pressures and sprockets, but keeping your drivers in the right mindset, making sure everything in the tent's running as it should, and then you try to add in the driving aspect again. It's just another element. It's really difficult. You've got people like Guy Cunnington who do it all year round. Don't know how they do. Maybe it's just because he's a younger man, I'm not sure. But no, getting towards, it's a lot of things to think about, and you've just got to try to make sure you do the best job at every area you can.
Just to finish with, what do you think of Sonny's hair? He's been working on it all afternoon.
He has.
Good, hasn't he?
Well, I'm going to say it's better than it was this morning when we missed the first practice session because we were still in bed. So as long as he's had the chance to do his hair, then we should be all right come Sunday.
Happy driver. You're a happy driver, Sonny?
Yeah, I'm a happy driver.
You have been known for entertaining us, remember?
Yeah.
Karting Live TV is all about entertainment. And when there's a bit of action on track in the NKC, that rainbow kart this year, but other coloured karts.
Yeah.
And so how are you going to keep out of trouble then? Not implying that he's causing trouble. What I mean is, after hearing what Louis just said, what's your mindset going in?
Well, I think I remember the old plate last year. I
Yeah.
mean, I really learned off that one. So we'll just try not to do the same. We'll keep our nose clean. It's a one-off. Everyone's going for it. We're all on new tyres. Everyone's just going to send it, really. So I don't know. I'm just going to be trying to be fastest out there. That's all I can say, really.
Yeah. Watch it, everybody. He's happy with his hair as well, so he's going to be on fire. The NKC Your Plate is always action-packed, but the action doesn't necessarily start when we go racing. For Elliot Surtees here, it happened on the practice day. And Elliot, a bit of a character-building practice day. You had a massive shunt. There's the bits and pieces that were left. Firstly, kart written off. Is Elliot Surtees okay?
Nah, I'm alright racing, it happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The chassis was bent out of, unable to be repaired. So then what happened? I mean, Hunter Motorsport really did sort of go to work then, didn't they?
Yeah, so basically Ted came up from Warden Law, chopped the chassis off, and it was basically all hands on deck. Jacob and Ted just went to work, and within, I would say, half an hour, I was all ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, so brand new Carlos Sainz, this is the Carlos Sainz 55. So Ted in the van, all the way across the Warden Law, brand new kart, put down, and your faithful mechanic here, Jacob, behind you. Take the accolade, Jacob. Half an hour, did you say?
Yeah, around about that. I mean, it might be a bit shorter, but pretty, pretty impressive.
That is impressive. And did you miss any sessions?
1 or 2, but
Is that all?
yeah, it's going to happen, innit?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, you've taken a very pragmatic approach to this and you're just getting on with it.
Yeah, it's racing.
Yeah, I like that. I like this attitude from Elliot Surtees. What a name as well. Do you know who Surtees, what Surtees?
John Surtees.
Yeah. Do you know what year he won the World Championship?
No.
I told you this months ago.
Did you?
1964.
1964.
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Kids. So, you're here in the NKC for the first time. So it's a big, warm welcome. We love to see new competitors. How are you finding it? Especially, you're on the Maxxis tyre now, so that's a tyre you're unfamiliar with, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a good championship, and I like the Maxxis, so yeah.
Yeah. Have you got? Did it take a little bit to get used to?
Yeah, I mean, it took a day, but it's a different tyre.
Yeah. What differences are there then?
A bit harder and a bit less grip.
So, did you have to adjust your driving for that?
Yeah, I just had to go in hard and just grab a hold of the car a bit more.
Right. So here we are at the O Plate, Elliot. It's all about the weekend, nothing about a championship. So, what's your attitude going to be?
Win.
Win, just going to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the attitude, isn't it? Elliot Surtees here, Hunter Motorsport. What a job. Good team effort. Well done, Elliot.